A new game called SkySim is taking over the internet. People are being chased to death while the entire online community is rooting for their favorite players, even bet on them. SkySim pick random strangers and make them fight to the death. We are then introduced to Miles, who tells them this is the day where his life changed forever. He works as a game developer and loves to troll strangers online. He even gets picked on by his boss. That same night, Miles is watching SkySim and trolls a bunch of other viewers. He seems to really enjoy it. One viewer then tells him not to mess with him and shows him his IP address. Miles freaks out and closes his computer. At this moment, a girl he has been looking on Instagram texts him. He replies, "Let's meet," and she agrees to meet in the middle of the park. Miles is excited. He immediately heads to the location. Miles and Nova meet and start bonding. Miles then wakes up to someone knocking on his door. He doesn't have time to open that, they break his door. A group of men enters. Miles realizes one of them is Richter, the viewer who didn't like his trolling and sent his IP address. Miles is terrified and apologizes to him. But Richter is only getting started with him. He asks his men to take him and one of them shoots a tranquilizer to Miles, who passes out. When he comes back to himself, he realizes he is on an operation table. The surgeon knocks him out. The next morning, Miles wakes up again, but realizes he is laying home in his bed. He checks his arms and realizes they implanted guns in his arms. Nova then texts him, but he can't even use his phone now. At this moment, Miles receives a text saying, "Welcome to SkySim." His opponent is called Nyx. He has 24 hours to finish her. If he fails, he dies. We are then shown how badass is Nyx. She is extremely skilled and always finishes her targets. She is a fan favorite and the #1 player of the game. One night after another successful game, she asks SkySim about their deal. But Richter tells her one more opponent and she is free. Her next opponent is Miles. The next morning, she disguises as a cop and finds where Miles lives. Meanwhile, Nova texts Miles to meet at the park. He steps out of his apartment, and Nyx is already there ready to finish him. She starts shooting all around. Miles hides and begs her to stop. He doesn't want anything to do with SkySim. But Nyx continues shooting and Miles escapes by the window. Viewers all over the internet are watching him running away via drone. Miles then asks cops for help, but they get hostile noticing he has guns. They start shooting at him, and now Miles has the cops also chasing him. They successfully hit him with his taser, but he shoots one cop by mistake and runs away. Meanwhile, Nyx is following him by tracking his phone. Moment later, Miles finally arrives at the park to meet Nova. But she already leaving, so he jumps in her car. She is so confused. Nyx then shows up with a bazooka. He begs Nova to start driving and they escape. Minutes later, she realizes it was a mistake to text Miles out of the blue. Miles admits to her he is in SkySim. She freaks out after he shows her his guns in his hands. She immediately pepper spray him and run out of the car to search for police. Miles then keeps running, while viewers are enjoying every minute of it. Miles then finally finds some pants to put on. While he does it, a homeless man nearby is looking at him. At this moment, Nova is at the police station as they show her footages of Miles from SkySim. They tell her if he contact her, to let them know. As soon as she leaves, Detective Stanton decides to track her phone. On the other side, the homeless man is helping Miles puts his pants on. Miles even asks for his food. A little later, Miles heads to his job. He asks his coworker Hadley, who is an expert at tracking. He wants to know how do people track him. Hadley then finds some virus installed in his phone. At this moment, Alexander, Miles' boss, arrives and reprimands him for showing up at 4 p.m. instead of the morning. He pushes his limits and Miles is so freaking sick of him. He points his gun at him and lashes out for all the times his boss humiliated him. Hadley is enjoying it. At this moment, Nyx enters and finishes Alexander. She then starts shooting all over the office while Miles is running away. He grabs his phone back and runs to the parking lot. He takes someone else's car while Nyx is still shooting at him. Miles tries driving with the guns and Nyx steals someone's motorcycle to go after him. Drones are following this chase and streaming live on SkySim. Nyx catches up to Miles and shoots at him. She jumps on his car, which makes his crash into another one. Miles is sent flying and fortunately survives. Nix also stands up, so Miles hides a building nearby. But Nick is already there, shooting at him again. Nix laughs at him. She then reveals that cops from all over the country are after her. SkySim promised her to make her problems go away if she succeeds. Both then exchange fire. Miles has a chance to finish her because she got frightened by a fire explosion remembering some past, but Miles doesn't do it and runs away. He then calls Nova to tell her goodbye. At this moment, Ricto takes Nova away and threatens Miles to finish the game in the next 5 hours or Nova will pay the price. So he calls 911 telling them he knows where Nix will be in the next 10 minutes. Miles then mistakenly walks into an exchange between two groups. They want to finish him, but Nix shows up with a machine gun and finishes them all. Police then shows up, pointing all their guns at Miles. He is taken by Detective Stanton and his partner. But instead of taking him to the hospital, they use him as bait to get Nix. Stanton has a personal issue with Rickton, as Rickton finished his wife but the daughter survived. His daughter is revealed to be Nix. At this moment, Stanton's partner Stan finishes Stanton. He then shows Miles a message of Rickton, who gives him 30 minutes to finish Nix or Nova will pay the price. So he activates the tracking software on his phone so Nix can find him. Minutes later, she shows up. Miles wants to team up with her to end SkySim. But she shoots him in the chest. He falls as the entire internet goes crazy. Ricto then sends a cleaning squad while Nova watches the end of Miles. The squad brings his body to the headquarters. But as they take it out, Miles finishes them as he was wearing a bulletproof vest. Nix shows up and we realize they made this plan together, after she showed up and saw her dad. The two then get in and start eliminating a bunch of SkySim members. Ricto is shocked realizing what they are doing. The entire internet is also in disbelief. Ricto calls immediately a helicopter on the roof and takes Nova with him. Nix then sacrifices herself and asks Miles to finish Rickton for her. Miles then heads to the roof where he finds Rickton holding Nova hostage. The viewers are watching to find out what's gonna happen. Rickton screams at Miles that he made him into a somebody. Miles then shoots and misses. He is now out of bullets. Rickton shoots and gets Miles's shoulder. The viewer are holding their breath and go crazy when Miles stands up. Nova then starts fighting and Miles finishes Rickton. Months later, Miles finds out Nova made a comic book out of Miles. SkySim didn't stop and has other partners, so Miles is on his way to where they live. The movie ends. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and check out other movie summaries we have on our channel.